Hello out there, YouTube. My subject today is how to live spiritually in a religious world, which doesn't have a lot of meaning. It's really just kind of a fancy title because both of those words, spiritually and religious, have so many different meanings depending on whom you talk to that that could take a whole day to discuss. But what I want to talk about is just the difference between being spiritual and non-religious and being religious. And what's the difference to me in my brain, and why it's important, or why it could be important for some people. First, I want to say I don't think there's anything wrong with being religious. I am probably religious to a degree, depending on your definition. Definitely according to the dictionary's definition. But I know a lot of people think that the dictionary doesn't go far enough. Maybe they're right. Go Sooners. The world has always had religions, I think. From the dawn of man and woman, there have always been people, maybe not everyone, but there have always been people who were afraid of invisible beings controlling natural processes that they didn't understand. They believed that their own actions, or possibly inactions, could influence those invisible beings. That caused fear, that caused them to change their behavior. So for them that was a religion, right? I mean, what else is religion? According to the dictionary, it's a fervor. It's more of a feeling. But what we see, and I think what people understand religion to be, is a belief that causes a certain type of behavior, a belief in something that we can't see. And I think that's always been around. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. Of course, as new information comes, as you understand what causes a volcano or a tornado, then your belief might change, and then your behavior along with it. The problems we've seen with religion, maybe always, but particularly what we know from the history of the last 2,000 years in Christianity and Islam, is that their holy books say a lot of things that cause even more troubling behaviors, such as you need to push this belief on the whole world. That is your job, that is your mission in life, as I was taught growing up. Until I was 40 years old, I believed that was my mission in life. Another big one for me personally, and I've heard other people talk about this, is the idea that your deity is constantly reading your mind and will judge you for your thoughts. That is a troubling thought. That will certainly change your behavior. If you're trying to control the way you think because you're afraid of an invisible being reading your mind, that can cause problems, I think. It certainly did for me. And again, until I was 40 years old, I believed that was the case. Actually 39, I'm rounding up. And certainly when I stopped believing those things, my life changed. And I could not say that it changed for the worse in any way. It was only for the better. So much better, okay? Now, please don't take this as a slam on Christianity, on Christians, or on Islam, on Muslims, or any Abrahamic culture or belief system. It's not. I'm telling you what those beliefs did for me and what stopping those beliefs did for me and other people. It's not just me. I know that for a fact. So, am I still religious? Maybe. I have certainly substituted the deities of my ancient ancestors for the one that I was brought up being religious toward. It didn't work out. I gave it 39 years. It didn't work out. I am certainly still spiritual. In fact, in some ways I feel like I'm more spiritual than I was then. So how do we be okay, that was the first half of my talk. Let's move on now to the second half, and I want to talk about how can we practically be spiritual in a world that is so full of religion. This part I haven't really thought through. Let me think. I should have thought this through. I thought through the first half a lot. And I'm hoping you'll have some ideas that you can share in the comments. Okay, Scott. How do you find ways to be spiritual? How do you practice spirituality in a world full of religion? For me, I've come to embrace a few of the things that I grew up with, such as religious fervor. You know, for a while I put that away. It was like, no, that's not good. But I feel like that actually helps me in a way to have feeling, to allow myself to be emotional toward invisible beings that I don't necessarily believe in. Belief is something that I still struggle with, but that's okay with me. I'm not all about believing in things anymore. I'm about experiencing things. I'm about trying things. That's how I am spiritual in a world full of religion. I don't allow myself to struggle with the problem of belief in invisible things. I don't believe. Okay? I don't need to. I experience and I experiment. That's my life right now, and I'm so much happier that way. I experience by reading, listening, going outside, meditating. I experiment through ritual, through sigils, though I haven't done that in a while. Magical chants, prayers. And before I forget, one thing I have changed also is that I don't think that deities can read my mind. I don't always pray out loud. I think it's possible to send your intentions out there with your mind. That's a prayer. It's a silent prayer. But if you're sending it like a message, then maybe it can get through. But I don't think that all the deities can read my mind, because oh my gosh, what a mess that would be. In fact, I don't think any deities can read my mind. If I don't want them to. I see them now more like if I'm out in the woods and there are animals out there. Now the animals know I'm there. They're watching me. They're aware of me. But really, I'm just another animal. So they know I'm there, but they're not super interested in what I'm doing usually. If I'm leaving them alone, they're leaving me alone most of the time, right? Except for mosquitoes, they're the worst. So that's how I think the deities are, for the most part. I was going to say some negative things, but I'm going to stop myself there. In talking about my former deity. But I think it's possible to be in relationship with the deities that you like best, or the deities you feel have called you in some way, because I think maybe they can. The spiritual beings out there, they're not all deities. Some are, other types of spirits, ancestors who have moved on. Anyway, I'm probably rambling a bit now. Let me sum up my main point, or points. How to be spiritual in a religious world. Really just don't worry so much. Don't try to believe so much. Experience and experiment. That's how I am spiritual in a religious world. Thanks for listening. Please, if you have any questions or comments, be sure and leave them in the comments section below. Thank you, and have a great day.